Why Mao Zedong didn't even touch his first wife. Mao described his first marriage as indirect rape. He never lived with his first wife or even considered her one. His second wife was captured and beheaded. His third wife was the target of a bombing attack. His fourth and final wife was sentenced to death. Here's a rare glimpse into Mao's personal life. Like most Chinese villagers, Mao had an arranged marriage with a local girl. Their wedding took place in 1908. Mao was 14 and Luo Yishou was 20. Mao hated his marriage, calling it indirect rape.
I never lived with her. I do not consider her my wife,
he said in 1937. By 1937, Luo had been long gone. She died just 2 years after the wedding. Love found its way into Mao's life through his professor. Jiang Qing hosted students at an open house every Sunday. That's when Mao met his daughter, Yang Kaihui. These gatherings didn't leave much room for flirtation. Mao and Yang communicated via secret glances. They were separated for some time. During that period, Mao had a fling with Taoyi. Poets called Tao the genius of Hunan, Queen of the South. But in 1920, Yang's father and Mao's professor passed away. This brought Yang and Mao back into each other's lives. By the end of the year, the two were married. Yang gave Mao 2 sons. She was the first female member of the Chinese Communist Party. Both she and her children met a tragic fate. In 1927, Mao's autumn harvest uprising failed. Mao retreated with his army. Yang was captured by the Kuomintang. She and her sister were beheaded. Her sons endured years of street life. Then Stalin himself ordered their relocation to Moscow. The boys spent a large portion of their lives there. They returned to China in 1947, speaking only Russian. In the meantime, Mao remarried. His third wife was He Zizhen, a member of the CCP. She was also a masseur and a skilled shooter. This marriage brought little but suffering. In 1927, he gave birth to a girl. This was at a stop during a retreat from enemy forces. The baby was given away to peasants. He and Mao also had 2 other children. They didn't survive. In 1935, he fell victim to a KMT bombing attack. She had 17 pieces of shrapnel in her body. In the years that followed, he and Mao began to fight. When Mao cheated on her, he beat up both him and his mistress. In 1937, she was sent away to Moscow. She ended up in a Soviet asylum, suffering from schizophrenia. Mao's fourth and last wife was Jiang Qing. Jiang was a retired actress. She gave Mao 3 children. Their first daughter drowned in a well when she was 14. Jiang went on to become a key figure in the Cultural Revolution. She formed the radical fraction called the Gang of Four. She used the revolution to avenge her personal enemies. After Mao's death in 1976, Jiang fell from power. The Gang of Four were arrested and accused of crimes against the state. Jiang was sentenced to death. Her sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. In 1991, Jiang died by suicide in prison. She hanged herself at the age of 77. None of Mao's other wives lived that long.